I'm back! Hi everybody, I'm Spot92 Nightmare, and guess what? We're back with some more of the kidnapped turnabout, where apparently kidnapping is a thing. I just realized I'm on the wrong setting. Hey, I found it. There we go. March 13th, 3:45 p.m. Gatewater Land Main Gate. Welcome back to Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations. Where's the costume Detective Gumshoe? He's on the other side of the fountain, sir. Oh, dear God. He's been beheaded. What the hell is that?
Was it out here in the open all along?
No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there.
This is a normal Blue Badger costume.
We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly.
Then let's get down to it. The rest of the suspicious looking granny. Alright, first off. What do we have here? Wings. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, you don't say. Something that looks like it connects to this. In other words, this is a pair. But, what do we have here?
Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too.
Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. Is it possible that these two... Okay. I kid you not. 20 minutes later, my computer gets back to... My DS gets back to normal. I have no idea what the fuck happened. But just know it took 20 minutes for it, hopefully, to resolve itself. And I'm going to assume that this is Lance.
Hold it right there.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, it's been 2 hours. I found out the problem. I can't believe I have to say this. I had to uninstall my VPN. Now then.
Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure knew how to cross the line, don't you? Ugh. A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence.
How can you tell?
Look here and read off what you see.
Lauren? Hey, it's a name that's engraved on this.
Lauren D? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. No, not you. I'm sorry. Lauren D. Lauren House. Lauren House. Oliver D. Deacon or Devore. Your real last name is Devore, isn't it, little Miss Lauren? Miss Palp's pendant data. Jot it down in my organizer. Yeah.
Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper.
No, you don't understand. I...
Lily, I I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers.
Lance. You're kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers?
The fuck, she just outright admitted it. What is this music playing right now? It sounds pretty good, actually.
Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage.
So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved. Or over.
Hey guys! Case closed! Get the car ready. And I mean the special one for this young lady.
I'm not done yet.
Again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time?
Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect.
We found it.
Found what? My computer is still doing its best to piss me off.
That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are sham. Just look at how careless they are.
Who are you calling a sham?
The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon.
So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges. I see.
And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it.
Thanks for the confession.
We're not done yet. Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed.
Look at you, so sure of yourself. We've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for?
Miss Lauren Pops,
Yes?
I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder.
But why? I'm a kidnapper and a killer. Isn't that enough? Why? Can somebody take the scissors away from her, please?
It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? Well, we've already seen how... Well, I mean, again, this could easily just be like some sort of farce that she's putting up. There is the possibility, you know? But, you know... Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. All right, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today.
Very well then, let's begin. I do like this music that's playing, it's pretty good.
The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Romano would pay anything to get his son back, after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
Really?
There. Are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much.
Miss Pops, is what you said really the truth?
Yes, it is.
If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Right. And We just gotta point it out.
Hold it!
How well did you know the victim?
I've spoken with him only a few times at Lance's house.
A few times? That's it?
Yes?
If they only met a few times, I don't see how they could have trusted each other. Oh, absolutely.
But if you hardly ever talk, then how could he trust you not to steal his plan?
This is actually starting to drive me insane.
That's completely irrelevant. He was planning to betray her from the very beginning. Which is why he chose someone he wasn't especially close to. Isn't that right, Sheena?
Yes. However, Mr. Deacon made it a very poor choice. In the end, he was killed by the one he intended to betray himself.
Ha! I bet you didn't see that one coming.
Hold it!
You knew? How did you know something like that?
Oh no! What should I do?
Okay. What's wrong with her now?
Come on, isn't it obvious? You're making your scary face again, that's why. Why don't you try asking her in a nicer, more gentle way?
No, stop it, Lauren. You're always like this. You always fall for the stern-looking one. That's why you'll always be unhappy.
Or maybe that's it. She's been bewitched by your icy glare.
Mind your own business, Kay. Now then, Miss Pops, let's continue with your testimony.
Oh, yes, of course.
You're a very weird woman.
Hold it!
Why did you believe that?
Anyone who knows Mr. Amano would think the same.
I bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure.
I suppose he would be to... Oh my god. I suppose he would be to a doting father like Mr. Amano. I always had to get the line right.
Right line read, 'cause I can't read.
I always figured that was it too. And I was always envious of Lance for it.
Oh, because your dad's...
I got this pendant from my father. And I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday.
Right.
He'll welcome me into his arms riding on the back of a Pegasus. Of Pegasus, sorry.
That pendant. She must truly believe it to be the wings of Pegasus. Well, about that, sadly, there's a problem.
Hold it!
Just gonna say that right now. Would you mind telling us a little bit about the plan itself?
Well, first we captured Lance.
Oh, how'd you do that?
That... Well, Mr. Deacon did that on his own, so I don't quite know.
Ugh, here I thought you knew how to steal people away.
I shudder to think what she would do with such knowledge.
Sorry, I really don't know, but somehow Mr. Deacon was able to contain him. All we had to do after that was wait for the ransom to be paid, but...
I just noticed she's got like a little bandage on her elbow. I just noticed that.
Hold it!
Why do you think he did?
I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning.
Miss Pops.
Wait. Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? No, probably not. What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I would say so. I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely.
Huh?
I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
But why? We were total strangers!
No.
It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money.
Hold it! Miss Pops? You really are clueless, aren't you?
Oh, what do you mean?
You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Oh, this.
Take that!
Why are you showing this to me?
So what about the pendant?
This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. The wings! Game! Cease slowing down! I will kill you while you start. Actually, please, I actually don't want to do that because I actually thoroughly enjoy this game and I really don't want it to be destroyed by my own ignorance. By the irritation of the computer. You know what? Here, take that! These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree?
Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're even made of the same material.
I believe that these two pendants are actually one.
Eh?
What the hell was that?
That reaction looked like you were slapped or something. Good lord.
I was just showing you a pendant. Don't have to act like I slapped. Did the pendant shoot a junk of air and smack her or something like that? Shall we give it a try? Apparently the fusing of these pendants causes the game to freeze!
Wow, it's totally Pegasus.
But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's?
You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be.
No, that can't be.
So the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything.
You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well. I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Probably be this one right here, actually. Just to be safe, let's see. Oh, no, not stole down from the guard. Thought it might be head for his wife and sole daughter are, but despite his fans, he gets maybe not, maybe? I would say this would. Yeah, it'd have to be this, I think.
Take that!
Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devore, the name that is etched on the horse pendant.
What? An alias?
I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written on Mr. Devore's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Sole daughter.
Take that!
Mr. Devore had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Palps.
That's a lie. That person was not my father.
He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what is so funny, Agent Lang?
You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you?
I mean, I'm kind of a prosecutor. Wait, shut up! What are you trying to say?
Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I thought of another possibility.
Is that so? Well, let's hear it. Come at me, bro!
Oh, I'm going to. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the house of Amano, and the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well?
So, This is his version of how things might have been. Well,
You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right?
You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter?
That's right! As one really rotten family.
Is that really what happened? I better take a long, hard look at the evidence. First things first, let's hit him.
Hold it!
Precisely. And what father would ever willingly kill his own daughter?
Not so fast!
A psychopath, obviously. Or a sociopath. Actually, just somebody evil. You know? There are people like that, you know.
Fair point.
I've seen a lot of things in my travels. And I can tell you that being related by blood is sometimes proof of nothing.
I mean,
Hold it!
you think they knew?
Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew who the other person was, but they had to pretend that they didn't.
Because he was on the lam.
You got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore,
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually having a lot of fun voicing Lang. I don't know, I seem to be having a little bit of fun in my opinion.
Hold it!
One is a butler, and one is the friend of the son, you mean?
they probably thought that was their best shot.
Is that what you honestly believe?
Of course.
Holy shit, that was short. I think that's the one that I'm gonna have to cancel.
Hold it!
Maybe. And I think I know what I have to do. It involves the costumes, I think. Because it was shown that there has to be more than 2 people, I think. Involved in this, I mean. You mean how they plotted to commit this crime as blood relatives?
Can you think of a better partner? They're certainly a clever pair.
The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were, in fact, family.
Yes, from the very beginning, they painstakingly practiced those roles well.
Hold it!
I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence.
Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to the contrary.
Without evidence to counter him, we're stuck at a draw. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one.
You'd better hurry and do something, or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad.
I know, but first things first. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the 2 of them really knowingly commit the crime as father and daughter? Let's see. Which statement was it? Yeah, it was this one. Okay. Probably this one, because again, there was multiple costumes that had to have been stolen. Just, there has to be more, you know?
Objection!
I mean, if you think about it, the more you think about it, there is another individual that could have masterminded this. At the moment, though, there's not so much trying to figure out what the motive is. I have a theory, but I don't think it's right. But I have a theory. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone.
And what kind of proof do you have of that?
Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. Yep,
3?
I like that pose. 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. And I believe this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping.
Who? Who is the mastermind?
I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. Are you ready for what my idea on who the third person is? Lance himself. That is the potential theory. In other words, my theory is potentially that he might have been in on it. Nobody would suspect the kidnapped victim being part of the plan himself.
Take that!
Lance Amano!
Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us.
Did you see the faces of your kidnappers?
No, I didn't see their faces, but two. One was a woman.
And the table is contradicting that. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said.
But I know I only saw 2 people.
This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them.
Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? We need to hear his testimony.
I really don't remember much anymore. Honest.
I'm hesitant to give him a Zarbon just for the hell of it.
But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could.
Through the underground passageway, I presume.
Are you okay?
Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right?
No, not quite yet.
How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? Frieza's getting increasingly frustrated.
Because he's a prosecutor. Wait, what was that? Never mind. Because he's a prosecutor, and because they're all like that.
I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. I've had a lot of character development, by the way. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up to when I push a little. Oh, goody!
I get to push Zarbon. How delightful.
I mean, right. After all, there was a way he could have escaped. As we saw, that door was broken. And what was holding it in place? A broken little... Well, actually, it's broken now, but... a little sword thingy that was holding in there. If he really wanted to escape, instead of using the underground thing, what he could have easily done was... He could have, I don't know, pulled the sword out of the thing that was... It's one of the simplest lock setups that you could do. Simply pull it the fuck out, and then you can open the door and get the hell out. I mean, anybody in that situation would be able to think, like, if they were really a kidnapped victim, by the way. They look over, and they see the door that basically leads to their escape. And how is it locked? By a sword being put in the way, inside the lock, jamming it. All you would have to do is remove it. And then, boom, you're home free. I'm just saying, okay, to be fair, there is always the possibility that the door was double locked. But then why would the kidnappers even put a sword in that door in the first place? I don't know. Just saying. Little sus.
Hold it!
Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail?
It is a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm.
And where were you when you experienced this calm?
Our family garden, of course. Where else could it have been?
Also, he has handcuffs. Well, excuse me for asking! This child is more princess than prince.
I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning blah. Then, out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth.
You didn't see your attacker?
They must have used some drug to knock me out. I vaguely remember them asking me if it smelled like chloroform. Because before I knew it, I was off in La La Land again. When I woke up, I was in the kidnapper's hideout already, all tied up.
Hold it!
By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct?
Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape.
Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers.
They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation.
Blindfolded?
It was definitely two people, and one of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move.
Hold it!
The kidnappers disappeared.
The room fell into a sudden silence. I'd been left behind like an unwanted mutt.
And what do you mean by unwanted mutt?
What a pointless question. It's not like it's going to tell you anything new, you know.
It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them, too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well.
I'll kick your ass, I'll show you what refined is.
Hold it!
Then, are those cuffs on your wrists? I suppose you are still cuffed in that case.
I am well aware of how I'm chained to reality. I couldn't find the key. So, I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Hold it!
Uh-huh. How did you manage to escape?
I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked. Which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape.
I have to counter that one. Just saying, you know. I was gonna say. I remembered our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway.
Hold it!
By underground passageway, you mean the one the staff used to travel unnoticed?
I suppose that's what it's for, but I didn't run into any staff members on my way out. And once I was up top, I was busy trying to find a member of the police.
And that is when you found us congregated at the stadium, I suppose. Let me ask you then, how did you get a hold of the key to the underground door?
Well, that was easy. It was hanging right there in the room on the wall.
I do recall a key hanging on the wall right beside the table.
Boy, does that bring back memories of our situation and how we made our escape.
Indeed. And although the door on the floor of our room led to an underground room, the door on the floor of the room next door had a secret passageway.
A secret passageway under a theme park. Oh, that just sounds like so much fun.
I wonder, is there something off about the way Lance made his escape? Oh, absolutely. Hold on. This. Let's see, where's the... Is this it?
Objection!
Objection.
You said that the door leading out was locked, but was it really?
Go!
Okay, also, your handcuffs is... Wait a minute. You can slip your hands out of those! From the looks of it, it's from the size of those cuffs, you might be able to just slip your hands out if you just kind of twist them a little bit.
We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open, right, Sheena?
Yes, that is correct.
Then take a look at this.
What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Unless you're Zero Lenny, in which case it's the perfect weapon to go up against bosses.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm a big fan.
Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. I jammed the needle. Why did I almost say jam the needle? Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape?
Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. Oh, I didn't notice it.
As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie! You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim! But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door! That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own!
Okay, you've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way.
And what would that be?
A motive! What else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
Objection!
Potentially. Yeah, absolutely. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. Gee, what was it something that we picked up earlier? Oh yeah! Something that sent us to the Tenderlander Loan Company. And who's needing some money? Oh, by the way, I sincerely am happy for Viola. You know, I hope that she's running the company very well, and I hope she's having a very wonderful time and serving people just the right tea.
Take that!
Take that! To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It's in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance?
Ugh.
Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. It must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh?
All right, I give up. I abducted myself.
Lance!
It's over, Loli. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off with that $1 million, but now, that dream is over.
Oh, Lance! Then you are giving yourself up? That seems a bit quick.
Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Loli. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back.
He turned on you?
Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money. That's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside that room as Loli and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Loli left first in the Blue Badger costume.
That would mean the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Pokes.
But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a Mad Badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. I contacted Loli right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly.
I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father.
Lowly, then it really was you?
Oh boy. Okay, hold.
That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there's a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life.
But that gun would have done nothing because if he was wearing the Bad Badger costume, that gun is a fake. It would only fire a blank. Wait a minute.
I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you?
Lowly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you.
So, Miss Popes, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was?
If what she says is true.
Are you saying she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve?
You would be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean?
What I mean is, listen very carefully to our confession once more and you'll see. Alright, rebuttal, here we go.
Hold it!
Please calm down and let's slowly talk through this.
But
All you have to do is simply tell us what happened at the stadium. Leave it to us to search out the truth. Can you do that for me?
all right. So, at the stadium.
Okay, for real though, like, I like how Edgeworth is approaching this. Right now, Lauren is losing her marbles right now. She is not doing very well. What does Edgeworth do? He's taking the information that he's got. He recognizes that she's clearly distraught, and he is trying to calm her down and have her, like, go over it in a much more calm way. I love Edgeworth's approach. He's not yelling at her. He is approaching this as professionally as he can, like, one step at a time. Can you tell me what happened? Granted, it's in the pursuit of the truth to figure out what exactly happened, but the way he's approaching this is good, and I like that. I'm sorry, it's just, this series has made me a freaking Edgeworth fanboy, and I can't help it.
Hold it!
That was the ransom money, wasn't it?
Yes, that's how I was able to identify Mr. Deacon almost immediately. It was all thanks to what Lance told me.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he called me on my cell phone and told me that Mr. Deacon had betrayed us and had run off with the ransom money.
Interesting.
And about how he had a gun.
If I didn't know any better, it's almost like this Lance tried to run off with the money and throw you under the bus.
Hold it!
Just you know, thinking. Were you able to clearly see the gun?
Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me?
Do you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't know.
I don't want to believe it myself.
But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it.
Left arm is oddly... left arm? Left arm? Hold on. Okay, not that one. Hold on. Left arm. We got a problem. We got a problem. Holding a gun in your left arm. That is not how that works. Because at the moment, that can't be right. That legitimately cannot be right. Because, I mean, think about this. The bad badger is right hand. Wait. Hold on. There's something else here. Hold on. There was something that I remember reading. Where was it? What was it? Was it the dossier? Hold on. That was right. That detail really stuck out to me. His dominant hand is right. Why would somebody who's right-handed hold a gun in their left hand? Wait. Oh, wait a minute. Oh! Yeah. If his dominant hand was right, why would he use it in his left hand? I mean, that throw him up, but the specificness of this being his left arm was raised. But wait, this raises so many questions.
Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought.
Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath.
Seriously! How Edgeworth is approaching this is so good! I'm sorry I'm raising my voice and I'm probably peaking my mic, but seriously, I love this!
And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time?
Yes, of course. But that badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead.
Hold it!
And you felt that your life was in danger, correct?
Yes, I'm about to die, I thought. So...
Hold it!
You shot Mr. Deacon?
Miss Popes,
Yes, I shot him.
And that, as they say, is that. Agent Lang, Miss Popes is far from done. She hasn't even finished her testimony yet.
You're going to continue questioning her? What a waste of time.
Miss Popes, if you please.
All right.
This is really starting to look like Lance tried to set her up. Now, the gun she got from Lance. What was one detail that we saw that popped up here earlier? Think about this. What suit is missing a gun? The Bad Badger costume. Lance took a fake gun and gave it to her. She's telling the truth, but she's also lying. She fired a blank. Lance is the other person crumbled to the ground. I ran scared for my life.
Hold it!
Just want to follow this out. Did you take off immediately following the gunshot?
Yes,
And you didn't attempt to approach the victim at all after he was shot?
I was scared.
I don't blame you. I would have done the exact same thing. Poor Miss Popes. What will become of her, Mr. Edgeworth?
She seems to be telling the truth regarding what happened at the stadium. However, I don't believe it to be absolutely correct. Listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. Okay, so I gotta find the correct one to do it. I think it was... There it is. That right there. Now, the choice between the Bible and... Yeah, I think I have to this one.
Objection!
Here we go. Okay, so I was right. Good. I have here a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed.
Then?
The person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon.
Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with was his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that?
No. Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Popes was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it.
Enough with the smugness. Out with it already.
Miss Popes told us earlier.
There was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it.
According to you, the Bad Badger had a gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. And how would that be possible? If it had a gun attached to it. Is that correct, Miss Popes?
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the bad badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face.
But if that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction.
Yes, Miss Popes claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. But both are correct if you think about it. I mean, seriously. Both are correct. And I just thought of something. There's another detail here that could easily change up how this works out. The hat. This head was left in the isolation room. Think about that for a minute. Both are correct. They are both correct.
Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction.
Miss Pope's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. Probably the head. Yeah, it would have to be the head.
Take that!
The costumes have two parts of them, a head and the body.
Oh, I get it now.
The head Miss Pop saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, is it not possible that the body was that of an entirely different badger?
A different badger?
Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Pops saw really belonged to this badger. So, according to Lance's testimony, both he and her were wearing blue badger costumes. So it can't be the blue badger, it can't be the Bad Badger, it obviously can't be the pink badger. Therefore, it would have to be the proto badger bottom half.
Take that!
What the heck is it?
It's the proto badger.
Yes, it is a matter of process of elimination. Miss Popes was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the proto badger costume. Miss Popes, who was the one who wore the proto badger costume?
That would be Lance.
Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which, he plotted to shoot Miss Popes while wearing that hideous thing.
The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Popes into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Popes and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh?
There is but one reason. Lance Amano! You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon.
What? No! That's slander! Take it back! You take it back right now!
Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand?
I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything?
It depends. According to Miss Popes, her attacker held a gun in his left hand.
Who's what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd.
No, I'm being edgy.
You snarky bitch. It's not like the proto-badger is bulletproof.
Oh, you silly Billy.
One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right?
Of course. Logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet. The missing model gun, baby.
Take that!
Booyah! We found one half of a Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks.
What?
Miss Popes, where's the gun you use now?
I threw it away into the sea.
That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question.
I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture.
I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. Phoenix can, but, well, whatever. However, I can say that the probability that I'm right is very high.
Okay, let's pretend that you're right, and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor?
I don't know yet.
Ha! I knew you were full of it!
However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame.
Please wait a second. It's simply not possible. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance.
She saw the victim in the state of being restrained? Really? You don't say. Let's, see if you're telling the truth or not.
I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape.
Huh. Are you sure about that?
So, Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right?
We thought that it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone.
Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He was also stole the gun from me at that time.
And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pope saw the victim with her own eyes. Which means the victim was still alive at that time. Wouldn't you agree?
Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail. Absolutely. Let us bring it out. We have to, do a little bit more.
Hold it!
Hold it! When exactly did you arrive back at the hideout?
It was after we had picked up the ransom money.
And where were you up until the time you returned? Why am I doing the hand pose that Edgeworth was doing? Stop that! I literally caught myself pointing at the screen the way Edgeworth is right now.
I was scouting the park out and making preparations for our escape. I walked around in the various areas looking for the best route.
So each of them had their own roles to play.
After I was done, I went back to the hideout.
Hold it!
How did Lance look at that time?
He looked shocked. He also looked a little down. When I saw that sadness in his eyes,
Thank you. That's enough for now. And what of Mr. Deacon? What was the situation like?
Hold it!
Are you sure about that? You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw?
Yes, I'm certain of what I saw.
Did you go into the other room to check?
Lance said that it was best that if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul.
Then, are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself?
I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a bad badger as a head on, so I'm absolutely sure.
Really?
That just had to be Mr. Deacon.
She saw a bad badger head? Ah, well that changes things. You don't say.
Hold it!
So the tied-up Mr. Deacon was still in his bad badger costume.
Yes. And?
It would appear that she misread the whole situation. What now? Should I raise an objection?
Well, potentially, yeah. I mean, like, if you think about it,
There's another possibility. One, we know that the person that she thought was Mr. Deacon had the bad badger hat on. Two, that individual was tied up to a beam. Which character fits these criteria? Well, fits one criteria. Edgeworth. During the time that he was unconscious, there is a possibility that Lance could have put in the bad badger head on Edgeworth's unconscious body and made Lauren think that that was Mr. Deacon. There is a possibility. And I'm gonna test that theory. The person you saw was not the victim.
What? Why not?
I will tell you why not. With this! This, Miss Pope, shows that the person you saw was not the victim. This.
Take that!
Miss Popes, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all.
Huh?
The person you actually saw was this person. Me! It was me.
Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers adopt me, even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right?
That's...
You showed Miss Popes a person, namely me, with a bad badger's head on, and then made your costume escape together. Or so you pretended.
Huh? What do you mean he pretended?
Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword, he then escaped via the passageway.
Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth.
Tidal wave?
We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold.
That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor.
Even even if that were the case, Miss Popes would have still seen me tied to that beam.
I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room.
You did say that you literally... You saw! Never mind.
So I really had no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth.
You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing.
Well,
Who said that?
please, wait. Ernest? Mr. Romano? Miles, my boy, it looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad! Let's see. You're the one in charge of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you.
Oh, do you now?
Oh! Is that what I think it is? Hey!
It's the Bad Badger costume the victim was wearing and a gun!
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. There's 2 guns. And there's a bullet wound! There's the bullet hole! It appears they were disposed of in the sea.
Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law?
There. Now, Agent Lang, please calm down.
Huh? What the heck is that scrap of paper?
This appears to be a letter from the Chief of Police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What?
The chief of police?
What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
I bumped you off, of course I did. I'm rich, apparently I can buy the police. There now, there's no need to be so upset.
Oh, I am not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country.
No. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything, it's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land.
I can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand. It doesn't matter who found the evidence, its value remains unchanged. Alright now, let's take a look at this new evidence.
I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. Oh damn! That verified that the blood on this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren! What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final piece of evidence. Excuse me? With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around. That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? But, wait, that doesn't... No, they're... Ha! I'll be the judge of that!
Yeah, we got some examining to do.
Okay, so... Weird, I can't examine the... What the hell? What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume head. Is that glass? What the hell's glass doing in there?
Hey, that's sparkle! I bet they're really valuable.
Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here? Why are there mirror fragments inside the hat? Can I examine that gun? This bullet hole.
It looks kind of burnt around the edges.
Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is the most important fact.
Why is that?
Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Very almost execution in a way. Well, not execution, but you get what I mean. Like right there. Not distance, right there. That got updated. What about this gun? Could this be the actual murder weapon? Revolver.
Well, are these not the most definitive piece of evidence you've ever seen?
Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there.
Uh-oh. Oh boy, this ought to be good. Okay, so now it would appear that I'm dueling with this rich, snobbish witch.
Makes no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun, and they prove that it was Lowly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was not after Lowly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lowly was only acting in self-defense.
The fingerprints on the weapon,
Oh no, this isn't helpful at all.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lowly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes.
That may be all you can do, however, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie!
You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all of this evidence?
I'm going to break you! Like a Kit Kat bar.
What?
Those fingerprints. Are you sure they belong to Miss Popes?
There's no mistake about it. Through my connections, I had the best forensics techniques money can buy performed.
I find that to be a bit peculiar.
What? Are you trying to pick an argument with me?
What should I do? Should I raise an objection?
This is literally the first fucking statement! Do I have to raise an objection now?
Let me get more data first. Perhaps I should wait and see how this pans out first. Gives me more time to enjoy this music, by the way. You sure are calm for someone who's accusing his own girlfriend of murder.
You have it all wrong. Allowing her to pay the price is a form of love.
What?
She says that she also wants to pay back her debt to society, but...
What the? Excuse me? And why do you believe that the victim was set on taking Miss Pope's life?
I suppose because he wanted to silence her. To keep her quiet because she knows the truth behind the kidnapping.
In that case, why did he not target you as well?
That's because he knew that if he killed me, he wouldn't be able to control my father.
Oh, right you are. Even if it cost me millions, I would have had the care to kill her found.
You can call Shelley to kill her. You might call him. You never know. I believe he didn't kill you for an entirely different reason. However, I digress.
Look, more than why he didn't kill me, I'm worried about what'll happen to Lowly.
Honestly, this kind of voice is too good for you. Justified self-defense. I suppose that is a possibility given the circumstances.
Really? Oh, thank goodness.
However, self-defense was not necessary in this case.
What do you mean?
Miss Popes is innocent. She didn't do anything, so why would she need to defend herself from nothing?
You still don't believe a word I say, do you?
His entire argument hinges on the fact that her fingerprints are on the gun. However, the truth does not lie there. It lies in whatever he is hiding from me. But not for long! Okay, so now, let's pursue this line. Skip this dialogue. Raise objection. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pope's prints should be on that gun to begin with. And the reason why Miss Pope's prints should not be on the gun is... let's see... Probably to be the stolen costumes. You know? Or... Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh! How the hell would she leave fingerprints if she's wearing a fucking costume? Then yeah, it would have to be the stolen costumes. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it would have to be the costumes. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking too hard. I'm like, wait a minute. Is there something else here that might be the right answer? But no, it would have to be the stolen costumes. That's the only thing that I could think of. Because, again, if she's wearing the costumes, how would she leave fingerprints? Take that! Take that! It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. It's either Pops or Popes. I think I'm gonna go for Popes. Lauren Popes. Lauren Popes. Lauren Popes. Lauren Popes. Lawrence Popes. Huh? But there's been no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time?
Ah, yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house.
To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pope's prints found their way onto the gun. Do you understand now, Mr. Romano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pope's is the murderer.
But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right?
You are seriously trying to throw her under the bus. Dear God, man. You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer. Yeah, you're not really defending her very much, are you?
Oh, Lance!
What? No way! I'm incredibly worried about her! But that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right?
That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence.
What? How?
The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. Oh, because how the stadium was set up is that they were fired at an angle, and one was on the ground, one was on the stadium stage. You want to know how that's not possible? Because of one crucial detail about the fucking costume. Wait, is it this one? There it is. One at the time of the shooting. Gunpowder burn is proof he was shot from point blank. Unless somebody was standing right up against that stadium and they were just right there and had a super darn long arm. Not possible! Take that! Let's take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. And then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it! This right here. It's the burn hole. Take that! The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range.
Ah, so then, you mean the murderer Miss Oldback saw at the stadium really was?
Yes. She saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. I just realized that was Kay speaking, not Lauren. For some reason, my brain defaulted to Lauren. What the hell's wrong with me? Sorry, Kay. Don't worry about it. I'll steal your shit later. What? I just realized the way that I do commentary, somebody could probably look at me, realize I'm talking to myself, and then try to throw me into an insane asylum. I might have a problem. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn.
Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then?
Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. Then... Okay, so if it happened before he was locked up, the only opportunity that they would have had was... Let's see... Probably where they got Mr. Edgeworth, and they pick up the ransom money at... It was the haunted house, I think. And the location where Lance and the victim were at just before I was imprisoned was... Oh! It was the haunted house! I've got it! I know the real scene of the murder! The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here! The haunted house!
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The
haunted house?
Yes, and I have proved that it is highly likely that the victim was killed there. What proves that the real scene of the crime scene, the real scene of the crime scene, the real scene of the crime was the haunted house. Why can't I English? Probably because of the freaking internet issue, the computer issues I'm having. Mirror fragments. These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror.
A mirror? And what does that have to do with anything?
Indeed. You don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous.
However, there is one place I can think of where this is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano! I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badger mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the Blue Badger mobile was stolen confirms this is as fact. Miles, my boy, say no more! I'm sorry, Mr. Romano, but I cannot do that.
Not so fast!
Be quiet!
Yes, please do something! Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense!
Ernest Amano, correct. I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps.
How dare you!
I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor.
What?
Shayna, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout?
Yes, there was a mirror there.
Oh shit, it was shattered too.
A mirror that's for the haunted house.
You see, isn't it possible the fragments got into the costume there?
But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low.
Not so fast!
Probability. Langshi says, on truth's path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is do you have the definitive proof you need?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you?
Do I have solid evidence that proves a murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is... no.
See? So since you don't have any, shut up!
I don't have the evidence yet, but... I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. That means I guess we're gonna have to investigate the haunted house.
What now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Agent Lang, I have a special request.
Yeah?
I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house.
Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission?
Because I don't really have a choice. If I want to find the truth,
Alright, permission granted. But you're not going to touch a single thing. Got it?
that won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that the truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is.
Sheena!
I'm here.
Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately.
Understood. I'll go get the Gatewater Group's approval.
Who was that?
Oh, now. Let's hold on for a second. There's no need to obtain approval.
Mr. Amano?
Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this.
What is this? Sheena!
It's the deed to the haunted house.
The deed?
Read it out loud.
Gatewater Land Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full in cash.
What?
As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house.
Are you kidding? When did you...
I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye.
That $1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was...
Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now.
You used the ransom money?
My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are. So, if you would please discuss things with me from now on.
Discuss? What is there to discuss?
Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course.
While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us.
Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl! And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper.
Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here.
You want to run that line again? You might want to try that again.
No, sorry. Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. Holy shit, that twist! Oh! Oh, Mr. Amano, you evil son of a bitch! Oh my god, he literally just... It felt like this was literally just one gigantic scam to kill a butler and then pin it on the daughter just to get rid of the... What the fuck is the motivation here? Because he was a felon? He seemed like he was trying to make an honest live... And then the kidnapped... What the Jesus Christ! That's a hell of a twist.
That's right, I've been evil this whole time.
Wow. Oh, my lord. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. I see you guys next video. Holy shit.